Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Arja wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws and plays a Plains. Sammy's land for turn is a tapped Blood Crypt. Max has a land for turn with a Shambling Vents and passes. Metcha just draws and plays a Swamp. Arja's got another Plains and pays 2 for Spirit of Labyrinth. He then ships it after that. Sammy plays a Swamp and casts a Braid of Fire. Max's turn has him drawing and playing Graven Cairns, and then casting Inti. Matt draws and plays a Swamp, and casts a Rat Colony to the surprise of no one. Arja's got a Plains for turn, and he swings the Spirit of the Labyrinth at Max. Max takes the hit for 3, and Arja then casts Thalia, Heretic Cathar, staxing out the table. Sammy draws and plays an Ancient Tomb, which comes in tapped, and then pays 2 for a Fire Diamond. Max has got a Plains for turn, and he casts Laughing Jasper Flint, who comes in tapped. Metchu's got a Swamp, and pays 3 for Urza's Incubator. It enters, and he names Rat. Arja plays a Plains, and casts the Seriema. This allows him to tutor for a Legendary, and he reveals Linvala. He then crews the Seriema for 3 with the Spirit of Labyrinth, and passes. Sammy's got an Exotic Orchard, and still has enough mana to cast Firelord Ozai. Max's Jasper trigger reveals Swords to Plowshares from Arja, and he draws for turn. Max then casts the swords on Thalia, and she gets exiled, gaining Arja some life. Max then plays a Sunbillow Verge, and is able to cast Firelord Zuko. Going to combat, Max swings at Sammy with Inti, and Arja gets Laughing Jasper Flint, and they both take the hit. Max then passes turn. Metch's got a Swamp, and is able to cast a reduced costing Ashcoat. He then follows up with 2 Rat Colonies for only 1 black each, and he sends the one that can attack at Arja for 4. Arja takes the hit, and Matir then moves to a second main phase, and then his end step, milling to Ashcoat's ability, and gets to return a Rat Colony to hand. Arja's got a Plains, and brings out a Sword of Hearth and Home. He equips it onto the Spirit of the Labyrinth, and swings it at Max. Max takes the hit for 5, and Arja gets to go and find a Plains, and decides not to blink anything, and passes. Sammy uses his 3 red from Braid of Fire to help pay for Ozai's ability, and he hits Professional Facebreaker off of Max, which he casts. He then draws for turn, and swings Ozai at Arja. Arja takes the hit, and after combat, Sammy then plays Zuko Conflicted, and passes. Max hits Sammy with Jasper this time around, and then draws for turn. He casts a Long Range Sensor, and then swings Inti at Arja, and Jasper at Sammy. Max discards a card to Inti on his attack, who pumps himself up, and exiles a Windswept Heath as well. Sammy and Arja then take their hits, and in his second main phase, Max then activates Long Range Sensor, and he hits Eerie Interlude. He decides to put it to hand rather than cast it. He then plays the Windswept Heath as his land for turn from exile, and gets to put a +1/+1 counter onto all of his creatures with Zuko. After that, Max passes. Metch's got a Swamp, and casts 3 Rat Colonies for 3 black mana. He then sends his other 3 Rat Colonies at an Ashcoat at Arja, and on attack, Ashcoat pumps the rats, and it's enough to take out Arja in 1 swing. Moving to his end step, Metcha then mills 4 to Ashcoat, and gets to return another Rat Colony to hand. Sammy once more uses the Braid of Fire mana to help activate Ozai in his upkeep. He's able to cast a Rat Colony that he steals off of Matt. He then draws for turn, and draws again from Zuko Conflicted's ability, He then casts the Beast and steals Ashcoat. Going to combat, Sammy swings Ozai at Max and Ashcoat at Mathieu. He sacrifices Ashcoat to Ozai's on attack trigger, and Max then blocks with Zuko, and with nothing else, Sammy passes, and during the end step, Max cracks his fetch land. Max chooses Mathieu with Jasper Flint, hitting an Arcane Signet and drawing for turn. He then casts the Arcane Signet and pumps his board again, and then swings Jasper and Inti at Mathieu and Zuko at Sammy. This is Max discarding your interlude to Inti, and he pumps itself while exiling a Temple of Silence off the top. Mathieu then blocks with 2 rat colonies, and Sammy blocks with a Zuko. Before damage, Max casts Lae'zel's Acrobatics to save his creatures. He hits a 15, which has him exiling and then returning the cards under his control, and then exiles them again. Max then plays a Temple of Silence, and after scrying, then activates his long-range sensor again, this time hitting Kate Sith. He passes, and the creatures come back during his end step. Mathieu draws and recasts Ashcoat, and follows it up with a rat colony and a swamp for good measure. He then swings his rat colonies at Max, and Max responds by casting Path to Exile on Ashcoat. He then blocks 4 colonies with 4 of his creatures, and with nothing else, Mathieu passes. Sammy's able to use the Braid of Fire mana to activate Ozai, picking Spider-Verse, which he'll cast in his main phase as he steals it from Max. He picks the mode for Zuko to add a red, and then casts Zealous Conscripts, stealing Max's Fire Lord Zuko. Going to combat, Sammy then sends Professional Facebreaker and Ozai at Max, and the Zealous Conscripts and Fire Lord Zuko at Mathieu. Sammy gets his Firebending mana from Zuko, and then sacrifices him to Ozai to help make more mana, and then activates Ozai again. This time around he gets the Knight of the White Orchid, and then activates Ozai yet again, and gets Olren's Searing Light. And with Sammy casting the Searing Light, he gets to copy it with Spider-Verse. This mostly clears the board as Mathieu and Max have to exile 2 creatures, and Sammy then moves to his second main phase, casting Knight of the White Orchid from exile, and then Anger from hand and passing. Max just draws, plays a Smoldering Marsh, and casts Belborca. Mathieu's turn has him casting Crashing Drawbridge, and then follows up with Key to the City, shipping it to Sammy. Again, Sammy activates Ozai in his upkeep, drawing for turn and casting his Stolen Goro Goro. He then puts a counter onto Zuko, and casts Nim Deathmantle, and goes to combat. He sends 4 creatures at Matt, and 2 at Max, sacrificing Zuko to Ozai's on attack trigger, but then pays to bring him back with Nim Deathmantle. Max blocks the Knight with Belborca, and Mathieu blocks the Zealous Conscripts with the Drawbridge, but the rest of the damage goes through. Sammy then passes turn. Max exiles Murderous Rider to Belborca and draws. He plays a Mountain, and casts Swift End, targeting Ozai. Ozai's taken out, but Sammy uses Nim Deathmantle to bring him back. After that, Max passes. Matt draws and recasts Ashcoat, and then activates Key to the City on Rat Colony. Mathieu then activates the Drawbridge, giving his creatures haste, and he sends Ashcoat at Max and a Rat Colony at Sammy. Max blocks with Belborca, while Sammy has to take the hit. Matt then moves through his phases, milling 4 to Ashcoat's trigger, and gets to return 2 rat colonies from it, and passes. Sammy's upkeep has him gaining that mana from Braids, and activating Ozai again, hitting another rat colony, and then draws. He then draws from Zuko's ability, and casts the rat colony, and gets to copy it with Spider-Verse. He then plays a Mountain for turn. Sammy then casts Songmad Treachery, stealing Ashcoat. And before letting him move to combat, Max casts Abstruse Appropriation and targets Ashcoat. Ashcoat is stolen, and Sammy then activates Goro Goro to give his board haste. He then swings 6 creatures at Matt and 4 at Max, with Ozai sacrificing Anger for future use hopefully. Max in turn gets taken out, and Mathieu takes the damage. Sammy then draws 3 off the beast. Sammy then continues by casting a Felwar Stone and feels pretty good and passes. Matt draws and plays 3 rat colonies and then gives them haste and swings for exactly lethal. With no blockers left, Sammy takes the 20 needed to take him out and Mathieu wins the game. Game review time. So my pick for the MVP this game is Rat Colony. It alpha striked 2 players this game, and that's just brutal. Ashcoat has such a recursion engine, and it's so punishing whether he's attacking or blocking. I thought the new Firelord decks were really sweet, Zuko seems a lot of fun, Ozai seems great for sacrificing, and Arya was just, what he typically is, which is the enemy of the table. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.